Hi everyone, it's Kamal again. How are you? I wanted to just send you this quick video to give you a review of the real estate market for 2017. As many of you know, 2017 was definitely a year in transition for real estate here in the GTA. In the beginning of 2017, we saw markets continue to go crazy from 2016. Multiple offers and overbidding and all that was going on right up till April, when the Ontario government announced their Fair Housing Plan, or FHP as it's called, and then right after that the market slowed down. So there's been a lot of speculation as to what's going on in the marketplace, what caused it and all that, and I think there's also some misconception out there. So the biggest misconception I think right now is that the Fair Housing Plan that the Ontario government announced in April last year caused the market to slow down. That's true to a point. It did cause an initial slowdown as buyers decided to wait on the sidelines and to see if the housing plan policy was gonna cause the prices to drop. But that's not the reason why the market has slowed down and the prices have continued to drop. There's two factors that actually cause the market to drop. One that you will be aware of, and that is the mortgage stress test that came into play, which basically means it's a lot harder now to qualify for mortgages. Okay, so that's one of the big reasons why the market has slowed down, as lenders have suddenly become very difficult for lenders to lend out to potential buyers. Now, the second change that had happened in the marketplace that a lot of people are not familiar with is actually, and it wasn't even reported as much, was what happened was during the year last year, the federal government through CMHC told the banks that they cannot absorb themselves of risk on the mortgages that they were lending out. Now, what I'm talking about is for the conventional mortgages. So anything 20% or higher down payment, the regular types of mortgages, not the high ratio mortgages. So what happened was, before, the banks would take a mortgage, a conventional mortgage, and then they would buy an insurance policy on it, securitization of loans or something like that. Now, what it meant was that essentially the banks were not taking any risk because they were buying insurance policies on it. This was also one of the reasons why banks were willing to lend on a house that sold for $500 in January, and in December, if you were selling for $600,000, they were still lending because essentially they had no risk on their balance sheet. So what the federal government did was, the federal government basically said that you cannot do that, and because of that, the risk stayed on the bank's balance sheets, and that's one of the key reasons why the market slowed down, because banks now suddenly tightened up and they were not willing to lend as much. So those were really the two key things that happened to slow the market down. Okay, now if you look at the hard numbers, the report has come up from the Toronto Real Estate Board. If you look at the hard numbers here, it says Mississauga, the average price for all home types in 2017 was $721,952. Okay, and it took on average 16 days to sell a property, and on average a property in Mississauga sold for 103% of asking, meaning to say it sold for more than asking. If you look at Toronto for the same period, it says average price was $834,138, and again on average it took 16 days to sell, and it sold for 104% of asking price, again selling overpriced. Now, if you just look at the hard numbers, it can be very misleading because that's not the market we're in today. The market we're in right now is very different from what it was last year because of the transition that's going on. I think going into 2018, what you're going to see is you're going to see a market that is highly segmented. What I mean by that is certain segments of the housing market will probably continue to see better activity than other parts of the market. I believe the detached properties, the semi-detached properties, these tend to be on the higher scale in terms of price in the real estate segment. I think those types of properties will continue to see weakness. Now, I'm not necessarily saying prices will continue to drop. What I'm saying is prices may not necessarily go up. Okay, so I think that segment of the market will continue to see pressure. Prices will continue to plateau. Activity probably will be slow. Days on market will be definitely going up. Listings are up significantly as well. The segment of the market where I think you're going to continue to see activity is going to be in the condo market. And it makes sense because that's the market that most people can afford to get into, and because of that, activity will continue to stay high. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean price will continue to go up like it did before. I don't think that will happen. I think what will happen is that the activity will stay strong, prices will stay a bit firmer than in the other segments of the market. 2080 going into 2018 as well, I believe interest rates are likely to go up. So for those of you that are still on variable, speak to your mortgage person. If you don't have one, get in touch with me and I'll get you a very experienced, highly qualified mortgage agent to advise you. I think you do need to get advice because interest rate environment is changing, especially for some of you who are first-time homeowners and have gotten into some low interest mortgages. You may want to lock those in, and if you need advice, give me a shout. I'll get you connected with Angelo. If it's real estate related, definitely get in touch with me. All right, so didn't want to give you too much numbers. I don't want to make this video very long as well, but if you are keen and you want to read the full market report review from the Toronto Real Estate Board, just click the link at the bottom here and you will be able to get access to the full report. All right, that's all for now. Thank you very much for your time. Take care.